Hey, this is part 2 of Gradigge's Mutants and Monsters review. If you're wondering why it looks how he got them so well back to where they were, it's because I didn't move them. I literally just finished that review. Like I said in the first one, if you didn't watch it, this will probably be my last set of reviews until Hammer Thor. That's enough wasting of time. And here is the Brood, who, and if you didn't watch it again, we're going to be reviewing the Warbound keywords from Mutants and Monsters. Mutants and Monsters. We've already done Korg and Miek, and now we're going to do Brood and Green Scar. Brood is one of the more useful ones on this team. Flyer, so that means you got a carrier on your team. 0 defense, Blades Claws with 3 damage, which I don't really like, because that means you have a really good chance of, you have an equal chance of getting better and getting worse, which I don't approve of. And yes, this fig does just pop out. It has happened several times to me. So if it happens to you, I wouldn't worry about it too much. This is actually the one that's been in my drawer for forever, so we're not going to worry about that. So, that'll actually make it easier for me to show you the stats. See. Flurry, Battle Fury, Combat Reflexes, Flurry. Keeps Flurry most of the time. It's either Flurry or Blades Claws the entire dial, which is nice. Like I said, cheap flyer, so you got yourself a cheap carrier on your team, which is nice. I'll have to super glue that. That just broke. Just broke on camera. That's cool. Anyway, while I'm trying to fiddle with this, forget it. Should just lay there pretty. Green Scar has the same movement power that the Thing does from the Fantastic Four review I did. I've already done him in the Hulk review, so it's just going to be a light touch. He can move his full movement and then do a power or a close combat action for free. He also has leap climb, but you can't use those in conjunction. I found that out last week. 5 damage. He's one of those Hulks that doesn't like activation clicks, so I like him for not liking it. He eventually gets up to 9 movement, which lets him move 9 spaces and then smack someone in the face. He gets Flurry with 4 damage, which is mean, 12 attack, and then he gets Impervious and Willpower, 230 points. Now, the aggravating thing about this team is that they all add up to around 421 or 423. There's not a whole lot you can do with that. Because if you're playing on a 400-point team, that's too much. If you're playing on a 500-point team, you can't fill up the rest of those points with feat cards, because you can only use 50. So you'll still be left with 20-something points, and there's no more Warbounds in the game. So unless your friends want to play an odd-pointed game like 450, or you're okay with being so many points under, that's fine. I know someone who filled up 50 points worth of Fortitude and then threw in some Pogs to fill up their points. Whatever you want to do, I just think that's aggravating. And now the final part will be the classic X-Men that were released in Mutants and Masterminds. Mutants and Monsters. If I say Mutants and Masterminds, excuse me. You have your Marvel Girl, Iceman, Cyclops, and Beast. The Bouncing Beast. None of them are overly expensive, but they all have the capabilities of their more expensive counterparts. Marvel Girl is a cheap TK'er, 40 points worth of telekinesis, incapacitate, energy shield deflection, super senses, stuff like that. Not overly thick. I don't think she's really worth 40 points. But she's alright. If I have 40 points left over and I'm like, I could use a TK'er, I usually pick her or G from Secret Invasion. Then you have Iceman. Basic ice-themed character. Barrier, incapacitate, running shot. He gets plasticity. For some reason he gets defend with a measly 15 and 16 defense, which is kind of useless to me. And then the Cyclops at a staggering 50 points, just like any other Cyclops in the game. Running shot, willpower, energy explosion. He also has a ranged force blast type attack. Whenever he does damage, they get knocked back that much. 50 points for that. And then he's 60. And then the Bouncing Beast. I believe this is who they refer to as the Bouncing Beast. Oh, that's because it's his movement power. He can use charge and leap climb, which is kind of nice. But he has super senses. I'm sure he gets combat reflexes and charge, flurry, and then he's dead pretty quick. None of them are overly thick, but if you're playing a low point game, let's see, there's 190, so they could easily, no, that's a 200 point team right there. So if you're playing a 200 point team, it probably wouldn't be that bad of an idea to do. You'll get the keywords for X-Men, of course, and they all have the X-Men team ability. But the downside to having this group with the X-Men team ability is I know a lot of people like the X-Men team ability because you can use Wolverine with it. And there isn't a Wolverine in this set that can be used with them. So you can't just regen the damage you pass off. So yeah, that's kind of a downside. But that's going to be part 2 of the Mutants and Monsters
it's the money with Geico.
Review extravaganza. I bet it's eating at you. What's part 3? What else could be more important than them? You'll see in a little bit. Later.